Today, many of us are struggling with what is commonly called dopamine addiction. So today I'm going to explain to you what exactly is dopamine addiction, how it is ruining our life, and what can we do to break those addictions and get back control over our lives. So let's start by understanding what is dopamine addiction. Very simply put, it is addiction to unhealthy pleasures that are easily accessible. And these would be things like your Instagram, social media apps, junk food, any of these things which are one, unhealthy, and second, they give you quick instant pleasure. So the next question, why does it matter? Why should we care about dopamine addiction? Here's why. Dopamine is caused by pleasure. So anything that gives us pleasure, it could be checking your app, YouTube Shorts, any of those things. If something is pleasurable, it will cause release of this neurotransmitter called dopamine in your brain. Now, what does dopamine do? It activates your brain's reward circuit. Specifically, there is a circuit called the mesolimbic pathway. Anything that gives you a quick high, it will activate this mesolimbic pathway. And once this is activated, you will have this sense of reward and you are more likely to perform that action the next time. All right? One more thing. If any action causes dopamine release, if you keep repeating that action, it will become a habit. There are no exceptions. I repeat, anything that causes release of dopamine, okay, which means anything that is pleasurable, if you keep repeating it, it will become a habit. And once it becomes a habit, if you keep going along, if you keep acting according to that habit, after some time, the habit will become so deep that it might be harmful, yet you will not be able to stop yourself from taking that action. It can become a compulsive habit. And any compulsive action which is harmful is technically called addiction. So I know addiction sounds like a very strong word, maybe drug addiction, etc. But any action that is harmful but compulsive is an addiction. So certainly addiction to your smartphones, devices, social media, Instagram reels, all of that, it qualifies as addiction. There's no doubt about it. All right. Now, why is it a problem? Here is why. You have goals. I have goals in my own life, my own career. Now, it turns out that any goal that you have, it requires a long-term pursuit. So you might have to work towards your goal for a couple of months, sometimes even a full year. Let's say you want to prepare for an exam, and that will take maybe a year. Now, here's a problem. Our brain is seeking dopamine, okay? It's seeking pleasure. Our brain sees two options to get a dopamine high. Option one is to pursue your goal, achieve those goals within the next 1 year, and then on the day of the exam, when the result comes, you'll feel really good, you'll get a dopamine rush. But there is another way. You can open your Instagram right now, and within 5 seconds, you'll get a dopamine high. So now you have one route to dopamine, which is 1 year away. One is like 5 or 10 seconds away. Which one will your brain pick? Naturally, it will pick the instant one. And if you keep picking that instant dopamine high option, what will happen? You will never work towards your long-term goal, and that goal will never be achieved. You'll never get the dopamine high 1 year later. All right. So this cheap, easily accessible instant dopamine is preventing you from pursuing things that truly matter to you. It's making you frustrated. It's making you feel helpless. And yet we can't stop ourselves. This is why dopamine addiction is a problem. So then, how do you solve for it? So I'm going to give you 4 simple steps. Number 1, every week, reserve 1 day for dopamine fast. Specifically, I would say, since the source of dopamine that is causing most harm is our smartphones and our social media apps. So 1 day, 12-hour break from your devices. I would recommend Sunday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for 12 hours. Take your phone, switch it off, and put it away. If you cannot switch off for some reason, at least put it in flight mode, or at the very minimum, take that phone and put it far away from your desk or in your living room, maybe in some almirah or someplace, so you are not tempted to go and pick it up. Same thing goes for your laptop. Put it away, okay? That 1 day, plan other activities, maybe reading books, spending time with your friends, or doing something which does not require a digital device. When you do this, and by the way, this is something that I've done lots of times, here's what will happen. When you get started, the first 1 or 2 hours, you will feel really anxious because you're used to having the device in your hand, it's not there, and you will feel, oh my God, something is missing. And that's okay, just give it time. In a couple of hours, very likely, your mind will settle down. And then you'll have this sense of this calm, you'll feel very relaxed, and it'll give you a glimpse of what life is like when you're not caught in the smartphone trap. Now, remember, this 1 day, 12-hour detox is not going to break your dopamine seeking habits, right? It will not break the habit, but at least it'll give you a glimpse of what life is like when you are not caught in that loop. Second suggestion is do exactly opposite of what social media companies want you to do. Why? Because these social media companies, they want you to keep coming to their platforms and stay right there. And to make that happen, what do? They keep giving you dopamine drip, drip, drip. So whenever you come, something pleasurable keeps happening every few seconds. So then, if that is their goal, your goal is exactly the opposite. So what do? So one is they will have notifications. So first thing is no notification for any of your social media apps. I would say in general, I hate all notifications. Even for work, I switch off notifications on my Slack, email. I don't have any notifications, but at the very minimum, for your social media platforms, you should never have notifications. Number one. Number two, access any social media platform if you have to access. Say ideally, if you can just stop using Instagram or something like that, that's the best thing. But if you cannot do that, at the very minimum, do not access these apps on your phone. Access them on your laptop through your browser, and that is going to put some resistance, so you'll not be tempted to check those apps very often. One more suggestion I have is, whenever you are accessing any of these apps on your laptop, on the browser, every time you're done, after every session, log out of it, okay? Close it. And my recommendation specifically is, do not do the autosave of password. Figure out how to remove that autosave. And if possible, make that password a little bit difficult, something you cannot remember. Maybe you save it in some spreadsheet or something. So whenever you have to access, now you have to go and find the password, type it out, and all that will prevent you from checking those apps mindlessly. The third suggestion I have is, all these social media companies, they have this feed. It tempts you to spend more time. So let's take YouTube as an example, right? So you're watching a particular video and you will see a bunch of suggestions on the side. So you'll be tempted to click on something. So you'll go from one video to another, and before you realize it becomes a binge. So would it not be great if you could just hide those suggestions so you can only see what you're looking for? And there are feed blockers. For YouTube, and there's a blocker called DF, distraction free. Feel free to use it. For LinkedIn, I use one particular Chrome extension that will block my LinkedIn feed. So if I don't want to get distracted, I use that. The third suggestion I have is mind training for focused work or focused learning. This is something that I do every day, almost every day, I would say, in my own personal life, which is I do 25 minutes of focus sprints of 25 minutes duration. People also call it Pomodoro. It's a very simple idea, and you must have most likely you've heard it multiple times, but it is very powerful. Do it. Very simple thing. I use a Chrome extension. There is a timer I have, set it 25 minutes, and then it starts ticking, and I have one goal, and for those 25 minutes, I just sit and work on that one thing. No switching, no checking your phone, no doing anything else, and after 25 minutes, you'll find your mind is calmer, you feel so much better, and you're able to break the grip of these apps that keep you addicted. The fourth suggestion, and the final one I have for you, is that give yourself some healthy alternatives. Here is one big mistake we make. We tell ourselves, okay, today I should control the time I spend scrolling, let us say, YouTube. Now, this is not a bad intention, but the problem is you come home from work and you're tired and you want some relief. Whole day you have been working on things that are very tedious, so you want something relaxing. But if you have not planned something, your mind will go to the default options, which are typically YouTube or some games, etc. So plan for something. Things like, reading books, maybe playing some physical games, going outside, spending time outdoors, spending time with your family, maybe playing carom board, or maybe music. It could be anything, but plan for it. Once you plan, what happens now, your mind can be given some alternative. If you don't have an alternative, it will keep going to the same things again and again, right? These 4 things, try them out. And you know what? I know you must have heard some of these things. The key thing is to practice. So this week, get started. Practice it. Practice these things for a day or two and see for yourself. I'm pretty sure you will want to do this again and again. Try it out. Thank you.